Hey, I'm Candace Scalise for our CBS 21 Next, and today we're talking about somewhat of a shocking story. Last night, we got reports that there was a stabbing on the Pennsylvania Turnpike in Franklin County. Today, Pennsylvania State Police came out and said that the victim of that stabbing was actually a man who was attempting to traffic a woman, and that this stab wound was from the woman who was escaping her trafficker. So I want to bring in Maxine Rose. She's been getting more details on how everything unfolded last night on the Turnpike. I mean, initially, it was weird enough to have a stabbing report on the Turnpike, Maxine. That's not something we hear about a lot because you can't really stop on the Turnpike. It's just a road, you pay and you go. And so initially that was weird. And then we come out and, we find out this victim is being trafficked. So what have you found out just reading through court documents and from what police are saying?
Yeah, so what we know from court documents is that a trooper had seen a car kind of swerve onto the median, and that's obviously what then caught their attention. They went up to that car, and one of the two men who were found in that car was stabbed in the neck. You could see the wound on the neck, and they said the woman, ran across the street. She's in the woods. She escaped. Something along those lines. The person that was injured was flown to the hospital, and then later, of course, they spoke with that victim and tried to learn a little bit more of what was happening. She told them, they kidnapped me. They threatened to rape me, she said to police, state police, in those documents. She said, that they had drugged me also. The court document explains that, she said she started to feel, different along that ride. And we're hearing different stories from both not to jump ahead here, but we are hearing different stories from the two men in those court documents, and then also from what she was saying. So, but what we're hearing mostly is that those two men were going to take her to Canada. Again, those other men, they said New York at one point, they said Philadelphia, trying to kind of, it seems like, just change up their story a little bit. But either way, bottom line, those two men are now in Franklin County Prison and are facing human trafficking charges at this point.
Something that was shocking to me was just some of the things that the woman says happened to her, that she was kidnapped, that she was threatened with stun guns, that she said, I think in the court documents, that it seemed like they were putting something over her while she was sleeping, which she assumes was drugs, and that they threatened to rape her and then even kill her or leave her to die. So it seems like this was, an effort to escape, which she was able to do and run into the woods.
Also, I'll add there too, another thing is that they allegedly said that they were going to sell her for $1,000 to someone, and then also to multiple other people too. So, that's obviously how she then knew, okay, I'm being trafficked here across state lines to potentially, out of country to Canada. And we also understand from those documents that she did not really know these two men, but she had kind of recognized them, that her boyfriend possibly had known them and then had paid them $2,000 to take her to Canada. So we do know there's a little background there, but either way, these two men had thousands of dollars on them, and they had a plan allegedly, to sell her.
What did police find in their vehicle when they approached the median? They found the vehicle. Anything that police discovered in that car or truck?
Anything placed in the truck or car? Yeah. There were a few things. So, zip ties, a fanny pack filled with, there was a notebook, I believe, that was in that fanny pack that kind of stated different things that were happening along that journey. And so that is what police said kind of related to the human trafficking piece of this too, that gave some clues there. Just thousands of dollars, the two stun guns that you had mentioned, there was a mattress with them, just a
Mhm.
lot of different stuff there that they were able to go back into the car and find.
It's just scary to think with these two guys charged with trafficking now that this woman was, basically in their hands, and that she was able to, escape by state police are saying, stabbing one of those guys who was taken to a hospital, and now they're both in jail, awaiting more information from state police. What, where was she taken from? Do we know that information?
According to the documents, she was taken from her uncle's home in Missouri.
Okay. So
So,
this
but
had been
again,
like a cross country trip.
right, yes. But again, the two men had also told state police that, they started in Kansas or something. So
Hmm.
it seems like there's a lot of details here that investigators are going to have to go through.
Hmm.
Again, this happened essentially last night.
Right.
Um, we learned all this new information just this morning. And so this is just the very beginning of this investigation. So who knows where this could go next?
I'm
And it sounds
actually
like even
surprised.
more.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that they have given us as the media so much information
Yeah.
already about this case. So who's handling the case now?
Well, currently state police are handling
Okay.
the case. Is there a potential that this could be something bigger? Possibly. I mean, you think about it, it went across state lines.
Hmm. Right.
So we don't know any of that at this point.
Okay.
And state police would not talk with us today about any further details. They said, we've given you a lot of information here. We're going to, stick to what we know right here in the affidavit of probable cause. And,
Yeah.
we'll just stay on this and
Were you
wait
able
for.
to talk to anybody today about cases like this or any safe homes or anything like that about, because this isn't the only instance this happens on major interstates throughout the U.S.
Right, absolutely. So who you're seeing there, that's Sarah Harvey. She is the director of Safe Home, which is a program within YWCA, and based in Hanover. That was the closest YWCA, to this area here. And we wanted to speak with her today to kind of get her reaction to all of this. And, she said these highways are a huge problem, especially here in Pennsylvania. There are so many. And it's so easy for people to just kind of, she said, literally fly under the radar. And, if it weren't for this woman's actions, to defend herself essentially here, who knows what could have happened. And in so many cases, she tells me today, survivors or victims, they can't say anything. They can't do anything, even if the opportunity arises at a gas station or something, because the level of threat and fear that they feel in those moments is so great that it's just so immense that you just can't even find it in you sometimes to do something like that. So point is, the fact that this woman was able to stab essentially this person and get out of there is really incredible. So, Harvey, she
Mm-hmm.
speaks with me a little bit about that and some of the signs and support systems that are available.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think that, that's a good question. Like, why don't we see more cases of women escaping, but they've been threatened to the fullest extent that it's like, if I do anything wrong and I don't succeed, I'm dead kind of
And she
thing. So it's
really,
like she took that chance.
it could have gone so much worse. And
Yeah.
it's just so amazing that it didn't. And that she was able to get help. Now we don't know any other details about who she is, where she is, how old she is even. But you can assume that after this point, once she is kind of taken into custody, which, not necessarily arrested, of course, but like just taken into police's custody, after that point, usually those services are given to victims to help keep them safe. So
Yeah.
I'm praying that she is in that space. And I want to point out one more thing, Candace, I thought was interesting. We're getting close to the holidays here. And this is a really obviously big time for traveling. And
Mhm.
so there are going to be thousands and thousands of people on these roads, on these highways, and on top of that, holidays can be a really hard time for victims and survivors.
Mhm.
So it's something to just stay aware of. One thing that I was told today is that there is a star or a star 11 signs. Those are placed around the turnpike. So if you are ever in that situation, or you think someone else, in the car next to you or something, I don't know, is in that situation, that is a line for people to call. That's
Okay.
just designated for that.
That's good to know. Angel says, I saw in the news here in Delaware that a nonprofit group was doing, I'm not sure what the rest of the comment says,
Who's doing it?
but maybe that a nonprofit group was trying to help, was doing
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely if you see something, say something kind of thing. So crazy story, hopefully with a good ending here. We know these two men have been arrested right now and are being charged with
Yeah.
kidnapping, correct?
Yes, I believe it's kidnapping and human
Human
trafficking.
trafficking. Okay. Yeah. It
Yes.
might
Yeah.
not. Okay. Is that correct? Okay. I couldn't remember the exact charges.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and assault.
Assault
Right.
too.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay. And so we're just going to continue to ask questions to Pennsylvania State Police and see if we can get more information. I know that they gave over a lot of information today in those documents that you were able to read over.
Yep.
But yeah, just a shocking story, I think, for this area because we hear about it, but to actually have an instance where it happens so close to people's homes and neighborhoods and stuff like that, it does make you definitely more aware to look out for things,
Absolutely.
and also just to like make sure that you have eyes on who you know, and just to protect yourself as well as your friends and family. So
Right. And right. And also, you just never know, even if it is someone in your family, what could happen.
mhm.
So, just stay vigilant and be, be there for that person. Believe
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us and commenting on Facebook as well. It's been a kind of a shocking story for us to cover today as we've read through all the documents, and Maxine's
Yeah.
been doing a good job just getting more information and talking to nonprofits like the YWCA, Hanover Safe Home, just to like get that information out to the public too. So we'll see you for more information tonight on our newscast at 5 and 6. But I appreciate you just breaking that down for us, because I know it's a lot of information all at
It is.
once, and then just like processing it and making sure that we're delivering it correctly with Pennsylvania State Police, the documents and everything going on. So yeah, that does it for 21 Next. So not an uplifting story, but certainly one that we want to make sure that you're aware of, and just to bring awareness to the issue of human trafficking and one woman's ability to escape, according to state police, a just terrible situation. So we hope that you join us tonight at 5 and 6 as we continue to follow this story. Maxine's going to be live there giving us more information about where exactly everything happened along the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So that's it for 21 Next today. Thanks for joining us.